that if I had to guess, I would say European, maybe Italian. But
are you guys flirting with me?
Manja.
Okay. Welcome back to the All Ground Podcast. I'm your host, Elias Anderson. And, Laird has a newborn. Laird and Tina have a newborn. And I got the funniest text from Laird. I'm sure he did not read it.
And it wasn't even autocorrect. There's no way that was autocorrect.
No, yeah. He said, honestly, bro, Lila was up all night. LM legit Amert Loof. LM legit Amert Lou.
With no spaces.
Yeah. So whatever that means.
Autocorrect is like,
Dude.
I'm not even going to take a shot at that. Not even going to try.
Dude, Lila was up all night. LM legit Amert Lou. That's how. So Laird's
Laird's out.
he could be here at some point, but
He might roll in.
as of now, he is LM legit Amert Lou.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
Legit.
Yeah, he is legit.
There's a
Amert
legit
Lou.
in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well-
I mean, I've been Amert Lou before, but not LM legit Amert Lou.
Laird is he's a real person now, you know?
Now that he's got a kid.
Yeah, he's got a kid.
He's like actually a part of the system.
Yeah, he's like,
Yeah.
you see people, you see him, as his, he's in the limelight, being a professional fighter, young.
I know, right?
The whole future ahead of him. Now he's got a kid, and he's a real person with a whole other set of problems now.
Yeah.
Well, a couple things happen when you have a kid. One, you stop being, he's not Laird anymore. Now he's Lila's dad. Right. So he's just taking a backseat to
We
Lila.
need to change this coffee
Yeah.
cup to say Lila's,
Lila's
dad.
dad. Yeah,
And
exactly.
I'm drinking out of Laird's cup
Yeah.
in honor of you, Laird. I love you.
And the other cool thing is, and he'll see this as Lila gets old enough to talk, no matter how cool he is, he could be the world champion, UFC world champion,
He will be.
dominate people, and she'll still think he's a huge dork. And she'll be embarrassed of him
Yeah.
because that's what every kid does.
And that's good because she'd be right. We,
She should be
we will
ashamed.
always think that Laird's a huge dork.
Anime and all that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoa. I'm not getting in this. You guys did this with the last pod when he wasn't here. You guys,
Dude, I know.
You know what I'm saying?
If Laird's not here, we're just roasting
Yeah,
him.
I know.
But
Yeah,
like in a loving
Jump
way.
on him, pile
Yeah.
on him.
He's
Yeah.
going to be a world champion, but this guy's a fucking nerd. Nerd.
I still have to see him, okay?
Yeah.
So, did you want to introduce our mystery guest?
Yeah. What should we call him? I feel like we should call you Enrique.
Ooh, Enrique. I like it.
Enrique.
Enrique. I like Enrique.
Yeah.
Shout out Enrique, who nobody knows.
They know him now.
Okay. Well, we have a good friend, Enrique. You've met Brenda and Enrique.
Yes.
So today you're Enrique.
I like it.
It's our mystery guest. Just like you don't know what Ty looks like, even though most of the listeners on this probably know what Ty looks like, you don't know our mystery guest, Enrique.
Enrique.
If you do not attend classes at All Ground Jiu-Jitsu, then you don't
Yeah.
know what I look
Yeah.
like.
Yeah.
I have a lot to live up to then, because Enrique is a pretty cool guy.
Enrique is cool.
Yeah.
Enrique is super cool. Actually, this is kind of cool that we have Enrique on the podcast because there's some funny history. There's some parallels here between my upbringing, my history, my dad's history, and his history. They were both, my dad and him were both in LA around the same time when Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu was kind of getting introduced to America via the Gracie family. My dad was teaching at the academy in Torrance, California as a brown belt. And meanwhile, I think this was actually a couple years later, because you started doing jiu-jitsu at another gym that popped up in the 90s. What was that?
So I started training out of a Gracie Training Association Center. So
Okay.
they call him a Gracie TA.
Was it like a Gracie garage or it was just like a Gracie
So
training?
it started out as this guy, Jerry Jenkins. He was the head coach there, and the other one was Jason Meters. And they were both, at the time, purple belts when they started teaching us.
Oh,
But nobody knew jiu-jitsu back then.
yeah.
And they opened up a space in Southern California.
Yeah.
And I remember my friend at wrestling practice said, "Hey, that guy Gracie, one of his schools opened up over here. And I said, really? He's like, yeah, it's in the penny saver. Back when we used to have like print advertisement.
Yeah.
And so I went and checked it out, and I was just blown away. Also, too, because I think because I was young, and you have like less fear when you're young. You know, you don't know that much of the world and its failures, and you know how you can. So I was just all in, and they were super. Like they had all been practicing martial arts, you know, karate. One of the coaches was a Golden Gloves champion, so they had like the whole framework on how to teach, how to win, all that. And so it was like a great environment to be as a young kid.
Yeah.
And it definitely shaped me from what I was and maybe what I could have been. So
Yeah. And how old were you
when I started? I was 15 years old.
15 when you first heard of jiu-jitsu?
Well, I was 14 when I first heard of it.
Okay.
And then I started. So back when we used to look at the yellow pages, I was looking for a school, and it said jiu-jitsu and judo. So I just thought it was all the same. And so
Did you call him up on your rotary phone?
it was a landline. And
I'm thinking about getting a landline for ALLGROUND.
Oh yeah.
Kind of cool.
dude, I'll just call it just to see who answers. You know?
Yeah. People can like leave the message. You know, I can hear it as it's
An
happening.
answering machine.
Yeah, the answering machine. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I started. Just that was my place. It was like. You know, back then, how I grew up, I needed a place like that.
Yeah.
And I remember not even having enough money after like the first 2 months to train. But I guess they just saw how much I loved it. And, you know, I think when you're an adult like that and you also been through something, you can see things in people.
Right.
And so they probably saw something in me and said like, yeah, this guy needs this place.
Yeah.
And so they just pulled me aside. They says, hey, we noticed you only come on open mat days now.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, I don't have the money.
Okay. Yeah. I was going to ask if you were honest about it. If you were just like, yeah, I don't have the money.
I don't have the money. My parents, you know, they would like for me to do it, but you know, the money but they just said, hey, come back next week and we'll talk. And then they called up headquarters in Torrance, and they said I could train for free as long as I showed up every day.
Yeah.
They said like, if you know, that's the deal.
Yeah.
And sure did.
You have to had to show that you valued it.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and it was interesting. Something that they like their philosophy at the time was they said, if I stop training, what if I was maybe going to be someone that helped someone else reach new heights, you know, or myself, or, you know, so it was just like they didn't want to miss out.
Yeah.
So everyone should train.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I agree. I think like just being an academy owner now, you don't want financials to be the reason that people can't train. You know, people can't do what they love, or something that really like helps their lifestyle. You know, adds to their lifestyle, and also being a part of a community is so important. A healthy community. So I think there's always a way. You know, as an academy owner, if someone is honest with me and they're like, I just can't afford it, I'm like, okay, well, help clean, you know, like there's something that you can do here that's gonna bring value to the space, because just having you here also, especially if you love it, is value enough, because you're able to help people that come in, you know, maybe help out with the kids' classes or something. There's always a way that people can stick with it, even, you know, if financials are a tough thing. What do you think about that, Ty? I mean,
you know, we've having our gym for years and years. Yeah. We've had people that we've tried to work deals out with, and then like the reason that they gave you that caveat, you have to train every day or else you lose the membership. People oftentimes, I find, if they're given something where they feel like it's free, then they don't value it. Yeah. And then they take it for granted, and then they just kind of stop showing up. When they have to pay, you know, $160, $170 a month for something, they're like, I got to show up because I'm paying for this. This is like, I've got skin in the game. So yeah, I mean, I have no problem with working out deals with people as long as there's skin in the game, so that they feel invested in this. They're not just like, oh, you're just giving me this.
Yeah, 100%. And you have to think about like today's day and age as well. Like I'm not just gonna like comp someone's membership and be like, hey, clean the mats, free membership.
Yeah.
You know, because people are paying for Netflix and other things. I'm like, if you can pay for some subscriptions elsewhere, like you can support the gym. And this is this is a local business,
right?
You know, like, and this is my lifestyle. You know, I'm here every day, like trying to be, you know, the best instructor that I can be, trying to build the community. So yeah, definitely there needs to be skin in the game. It doesn't have to be, you know, an absurd amount but there's got to be something.
But I mean, trade's great because, you know, especially if somebody like say they're out of work and they've got time on their hands because they don't have a job, then there's stuff that needs to be done. Businesses like, you know, you don't realize how much stuff needs to be done until you start running a business. And then you're like, oh my God, there's so much stuff that needs to be done. So much busy work. And so you can't offload some of that stuff onto people if they have that free time.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. No, that helps a lot. You're wearing so many hats. Yeah, so many different things. I love it though. Like business to me now is like, it's like jujitsu. It's just high level problem solving. You know, you just don't get choked out.
Well, sometimes you do. Yeah. Wait till the business department calls you. Yeah. How long were you at that academy down in SoCal?
Man, I was there for maybe all through high school. So I started like freshman year, and then into the summer I started training. So like 3 years.
Wow.
Because right after high school I had to start working. Okay. And so then at that point I would just kind of train sporadically, just kind of here and there. And, you know, work was kind of like the main goal to kind of help my family and all of us get out of our situation. But man, jiu-jitsu, I remember having that. I remember training. I told this story to coach, and I remember training all summer, like every day. They would even have class on Sundays. Like these guys were savages, you know. But for me, I just thought this is just what it is. This is what everyone does in jiu-jitsu. Yeah, you know, it wasn't. And I can remember just going back to school, and like I had this moment where I'm looking around, and I go, I'm not scared of kids anymore, because that's what we were. Yeah, I've been fighting grown men for 2 months straight. Yeah, you know, and then they also invested in me. Yeah, you know, showed me so much of like to have better psychology. You know, I think that was the main thing that they gave me, to be brave. Yeah, you know, I mean, like you hear that word, but like, do people feel like they're brave? You know, and so they gave a lot of that to me, and definitely changed my life. And because so much happens of like so much of your hardwiring happens when you're young. Yeah, you know who you're gonna be.
Yeah, it's a formative time for your life, and you're really forming your personality for sure.
Yeah, so they definitely gave me a lot. And years, you know, after that, I would run into my coaches here and there around town, you know, and they'd just be like, it was like I always felt like I didn't tell them how much I appreciated them, because as I was going through life, you know, I would see how much it helped me. Yeah. So I did it for there, and then trained every now and then, and a bunch of the guys, you know, that I came up with, young guys, they continued on and, you know, got their black belts and, you know, started regularized. Because I think jiu-jitsu back then, it was kind of like if you weren't a black belt in teaching or fighting, you know, there wasn't really enough things to like make a living out of it.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Not a lot of avenues for it. I mean, would you say, Elias, now that there's more of that? I mean, is there a way to like make a living outside of teaching? I mean, not that many people are going to be good enough competitively to really live off of jiu-jitsu, right? I mean, only the very top guys.
Yeah, just the top 1%, really. You know, if you're looking at sponsors and if you're competing for big events where there's big payouts. But yeah, I think the avenue for a lot of people is just to have their own academy, right? You know, and then that's even a challenge in and of its own, because there's so much that you don't think about. You're not just teaching classes, you know. You're not just, I'm going to open up the doors and teach jiu-jitsu. If
you build it, they will come. Right?
Yeah. There's so much you have to do, and really, it's just like you have to just work like more than you were probably working before in another job, because you realize that there's so much to do, like just for people to know about you. you know, and it's definitely not for the faint of heart, you know, starting an academy. And that's what it takes. I mean, if you're a high level competitor and, you know, you're competing at the highest level and not getting like, you know, what you earn, then just take that same mentality to opening up your academy and understand that there's going to be ups and downs and a lot of downs, but you just got to keep grinding. There's a big payout.
Do you think that, like, I know you maybe, you know, you were teaching at previous gyms, and do you think you were prepared for this? Like, coming into it, do you think, oh, I've taught before, I can teach again, and it's just going to add a little bit being a business owner, like, or is it completely different because you own it? Like,
yeah, I think I was prepared when we started ALLGROUND, but because like I had the teaching confidence from my dad growing up, and he was very particular. When he would watch Laird and I teach, after we would teach the move, he would pull us aside and be like, you kind of missed this, you know, this is a really important detail. And still, I like hear his voice in my head when I'm teaching, you know, I'm trying to be the best instructor that I can be. And I had a lot of teaching influences, but for sure, like he was my foundation and a great instructor himself. So I felt like prepared in that regard. And then definitely on the business side of it, I was really fortunate to be assisting and teaching the jiu-jitsu program at an academy called Fightcraft in San Jose. And a good friend of mine, Josh, that owns it, he taught me so much about like just the back end of the business, you know, how to run a successful martial arts academy, what needs to be done, all the things that people aren't thinking about. And yeah, I mean, and I'm still learning a lot. I mean, even, you know, from Ty, like as Ty's a business owner and has a successful CrossFit academy with his wife, and I learned so much from them. I mean, it's always like you're absorbing as much as you can. But yeah, I did feel prepared. You know, I did feel prepared at that point in my life, and I knew that I would have to like take a step back on like that competition mindset. You know, just getting ready for the next event, and I still competed a couple times as we were opening up the gym. But I knew that I would have to give my full attention to ALLGROUND in order for it to be the academy that I had dreamt of, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, Laird and I got it to a certain point where it was sustainable, and really proud of that. I mean, we put our heart and soul into it, and now it's just about building the most awesome, badass, fun community, you know? Like, we are at the point where we know we're great instructors. We know that we've been there, you know, in the fire, under the lights, you know, competed at the highest level. So that gives us the confidence, you know, that we can offer something great. And now we're just trying to build an awesome community, you know, a place where people feel super included, super safe, like they're just having an awesome time and learning a really badass skill and becoming better human beings.
Yeah.
And so far, it's been great. You know, I've taught at a lot of academies over the years, and you always run into some weird people and like probably some energies and people that shouldn't be in that space. And it's kind of a tough thing to deal with. But we're very fortunate to not have had to experience that so much. And I think it's just like the moment people walk in the door, they sort of understand what kind of community this is and like how supportive it is, and you know, the family environment that it feels like. And if you're an asshole, that just like turns you away right off the bat. So luckily not a lot of assholes at ALLGROUND so far.
Look at Ty, since you've been a business owner for so long and you deal with, you know, people, I think that's one of the things that I think about most, because it's about people, right? And do you kind of, I don't know, like, do you just take it as it comes, or do you develop a strategy to, like, I don't know, handle people or be around, you know, like in this kind of environment, like being a business owner? And
I'd say it's less about handling people and more about, you know, they say, don't talk about it, be about it, being about it, right? Like, you model the behavior that you would want from the people at your facility. If you're being honest and upfront with the people at your facility, if you're patient with them, if you're nice, you're kind, charitable, and, you know, you're not being a jerk, then they're not going to be a jerk. Generally, there are those outliers, those like kind of sociopaths out there that are just, it doesn't matter how nice you are to them, they're just going to be nuts, right? And so there's very few people that are really like that. I feel like a good community can bring out the best in people.
Yeah.
Right. So most people have it within themselves to fit into a good community.
Okay.
So, 99% of people that walk in the door, they can fit in. They can, as long as you model the right behavior. But every once in a while, you get a weirdo, and then, you'll like kind of show them the door, and then later you'll see them on the news being arrested or something, like that's the kind of thing that happens.
Yeah.
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 Do you think also too, because it's like maybe CrossFit or jiu-jitsu isn't the place for them, but maybe where they're weird and those two things, but they can be like super successful somewhere else. I don't know, like Pilates or something.
Yeah, everybody's got their shtick.
Yeah. I think some people just need personal training.
One-on-one.
Yeah.
Around no one else.
Yeah. Yeah. Some people just don't fit well into communities. And some people just don't like being around groups of people. They're kind of introverted. And so, jiu-jitsu is obviously very intimate and personal. CrossFit's kind of the same way. Like you're in a small group of people training in an area, and you've got to interact with the people around you. And if you don't interact with them, it gets weird, Yeah. So a lot of times introverts just kind of naturally are like, yeah, this isn't for me. That's fine. They put on their headphones, go to a Globo gym, and hit the bench, and that's fine.
Yeah.
And they're happy, and that's good. I mean, I want everybody to pursue physical activity, whether it be martial arts or just working out at a gym or both.
I think it's super cool when you can see those introverts sort of start to break out of their shell a little bit too. Because that's naturally going to happen. People get shy and nervous, especially in jiu-jitsu. It's an intimate sport. Yeah. But when people start to like come out of their shell, they start to joke. You're like, oh, like this. I didn't know you had this side to you. You're actually pretty funny.
Yeah, yeah.
Not just some weird freak weirdo.
We're all weirdos. I mean, there's no doubt about that.
Yeah. No, yeah. It's super cool. One thing I love about Ty is, and you've talked about this before, like from the book you read, but the power of moments. Mm-hmm. Like I learned so much about how to engage more with the community, how to make them feel more welcomed, and a part of something bigger than just the academy. And I want to know if has that always been you? Have you always been like a romantic, like very like follow through on the ideas, whether they're crazy or not?
Yeah. I mean, I think I get a little obsessive. My wife would definitely tell you I get very obsessive about things and I follow through on things.
I wish people could understand the sublimation thing that's going on right now.
Yeah.
Ty discovered sublimating like a couple weeks ago, and now
sublimate everything.
Yeah, he sublimates everything.
Shirts, mugs, whatever.
Yeah.
No, I've always, I think in my heart, have always known that people enjoy spectacular moments in their lives.
Yeah.
And then reading that book just kind of hammered it home for me. I love the saying, resist the soul-sucking force of reasonableness.
Reasonableness, yeah.
Yeah. Don't just be reasonable. Like create powerful moments for people. And I love the sincerity that you and Laird have, that you're not just creating these contrived moments just so that people can feel good about themselves. You actually care about them and you want them to know that you care about them. And so those moments are powerful because of the sincerity behind it. Mm-hmm. That's important. If you're just faking it, then people know they can tell.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Authenticity.
Yeah,
is so important.
It's crazy how little encouragement people need, to kind of break through that next barrier.
Yeah.
And when you're on a place where it's normal to fail, it's normal to like not be good at this.
Yeah.
You can have like even a high level, practitioners get on the mat and maybe their bare and bolo just isn't good. you know what I mean? It's like, because it's just, it can just be that way.
Yeah.
And I think when people know that, when a white belt gets on the mat and he's been training hard and he feels like, or they feel like, where am I going with this? Like you're going far. You just don't know it.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, just being able to like put your hand on someone's shoulder and be like, hey, you crushed it today. Like just something as simple as that. They're like, whoa.
Yeah.
I crushed it today. no one's told me this in a long time or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's true. Like, I watch people, and especially if they're new and they do something that kind of impresses me, I'm like, hey, you freaking crushed it today. That was cool. That was cool to see you do that.
Yeah.
And like, wow, you noticed that? You're like, yeah. But that just simple gestures like that are huge. So important for people.
Yeah. Yeah. People love feedback. They love to know that somebody's watching and that they care.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, shifting directions. We got to talk about the fights real quick.
Okay.
Because Laird's not here, so we can bag on him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and you're right.
You
were right.
Yeah.
And that's what matters.
But I'm never wrong.
Yeah.
At least I can't remember when I was wrong.
Unless I'm wrong, and I'm never wrong.
Yeah. And even if I am wrong, I admit that I'm wrong, so I'm right.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm always right. So for those that don't know, this was last weekend, 2 weekends ago?
2 weekends ago.
Yeah, 2 weekends ago. Big fight in L.A. Merabs Devavashilevijili versus Umar Nurmagomedov. And Laird had previously trained with Umar.
Yeah.
I was very confident he was going to win, but I just believed that Merabs was enough of a tank, like a relentless tank, that he could pose a big threat to Umar. Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what happened. I mean, definitely Umar looked better in the first 2 rounds, but Merabs has just got it.
He's relentless.
Yeah.
He's
an
relentless.
insane
and he's got
gas tank.
so much energy, man.
Dude.
And he was like, even when he was kind of down, he looked like he was having fun.
Yeah.
Like he loves the craft of fighting.
Yeah.
It's not a job.
Yeah. Yeah. You can tell even when he's in pain, he's like, yeah, no, this is great. I love this.
It's like, are we going to do more? Oh, round 3. Yay. You know? And Umar starts looking super gassed and Merabs is like dancing around and enjoying himself. It was nuts.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
Yeah. No.
I think, because it's like disabling in 2 parts, right? Where Umar sees Merabs like just letting up. And then, so that's almost like, how is this guy still going?
Dude, I'm sure like a guy like Umar that comes from, arguably the greatest training camp.
Dynasty.
Dynasty in MMA right now. I mean, at least one of them. Like, he's probably not seen something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure he's been pushed to the limits. Like, holy shit, I'm tired. Like, but that's like a zombie. Like, you're just, why won't you die type moments,
He's hitting it with everything he has. And he's a great striker, obviously. Yeah. But, Merabs was shockingly good at avoiding any like serious damage.
Yeah.
And also his striking was better than I remembered against Sean O'Malley. Like, he struck well.
Yeah.
Like, that's not his major game. He's not a striker as much as he is a grappler, but his striking didn't suck.
Yeah. No, it didn't. It didn't. I feel like I always take something from these big championship fights, just as a martial artist, you're like trying to absorb and then hopefully implement in your own training. And just one thing I took from that, I mean, is what do you have to do in order to like have a gas tank like that where you can just press hard for 5 rounds? Like, insane amount of cardio. And
he's quite a bit older than Umar, isn't he?
I think he's maybe 36 or 7. I'm not actually sure. I don't know if he's even that old.
You say that because what was interesting, and it really made me think too, was so he had an interview with Daniel Cormier in Vegas.
Yeah.
And he was waiting on Merabs. And Merabs comes running up. And then Daniel goes, "You just won the title like 4 days ago." And he goes, "Yeah, but this is how I got here."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, the dude's looking for I have an hour. I'm going to go run for 30 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what it is, I believe. I mean, for sure, a lot of people are going to say it's genetics, and I'm sure there's an element there. But I think it's just his lifestyle to be fucking go mode, foot on the gas all the time.
He's got gratitude. His English isn't great, but he was so excited. He's like, I work construction, and then now I'm here, and this is like changed my life. And he's like just so grateful for what he has.
Yeah.
And whereas his criticism of Umar is that Umar has this last name and he was kind of handed everything. And I don't think that's necessarily true. Umar works hard. He's a hard worker.
A lot of
for
sacrifice in that family.
But maybe not as much as Merab. Like maybe he hasn't worked as hard as Merab and climbed his way up from basically nothing to where he is.
Yeah, and there's probably an element of Merab not even thinking a lot of it is work, you know? Like he's just run. It's just his lifestyle. I've heard stories of him like having full on like 3 to 5 rounds of MMA sparring leading up to a fight, and then everyone else is gassed and he's on the Aerodyne, just going. Just going, because that's just the type of guy he is.
Yeah, we got to find out where he grew up in Georgia.
Yeah.
And see if it's like next to like a radiation plant or something.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Nuclear.
you know what I'm saying?
He grew up under power lines.
Dude's
He is a mutant.
His blood is blue.
Yeah. Like them lungs are just like not like he's gonna get banned, you know, from like the UFC because he has abnormally large lungs or something.
This can't be natural.
Yeah. But that's inspiring, you know. I've always felt like that was an aspect of my game that would always be difficult for people to deal with. Was I can just keep going. Like I can push the pace. I can push the pace even when I'm dog tired. I can just keep going. Because I was just always thinking like I can suffer more. Like I know that I can suffer more than this person. So I'm just gonna get super tired and not quit.
Right.
But it doesn't seem like Merab is suffering at all. He's just like, he's smiling.
I think he leans into it.
Yeah.
I think he likes the suffering.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like he enjoys the pain.
Yeah.
And he wants to experience the pain. Most people, when they feel pain, they're trying not to experience it.
Yeah.
I think he is enjoying the experience.
Yeah.
He feels maybe like this pain is something I've earned and I want to relish it.
Yeah.
Whereas Umar looked just broken. In round 3, he looked like he broke.
Yeah. He looked so tired, which is crazy to see that out of such a high level elite martial artist that honestly dominates most people. Mm-hmm. And those are some of the coolest moments in MMA is when an underdog makes the other person look like the underdog.
Yeah.
You know, it's so cool.
Can you imagine what's happening right now, like in Dagestan? What with the team could be like, they're going probably through hell right now because of
you're gonna run into
you know what I'm saying? They're like I want you to
Dude.
kick.
Yeah, I think that is so important though, and maybe that's like what I'm figuring out right now as we're talking about it, but just like making it even that pain just so much fun, like reframing it and being like, this is awesome. I love this, because you can say it, but not believe it. And I noticed that like when I'm really pushing the pace, it's just cause like I'm trying to suffer, but I don't like it. I just want to prove that I can, but maybe we do this with the cold plunge and whatnot, but every time we say, oh fuck, like we got to do the cold plunge or something. But you're always saying like, no, dude, we get to do the cold plunge. Let's do this.
Yeah, exactly. I paid $6,000 for this cold plunge. I'm going to enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's a privilege.
Yeah, no. I think I'm going to start doing that more. Just laughing and smiling and enjoying the pain.
Yeah, I would say that Merab, a huge part of the reason he won that fight was all between the ears. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Like he had the mindset. He has the mindset of a relentless, indomitable champion.
Yeah.
Whether he has the skill set or not. I mean, on paper, who's the better fighter? I mean, I don't know. I think Umar's the better fighter on paper.
On paper, skill for skill, stat for stat.
But he
Umar.
Merab has heart in a like profound way.
Yeah.
He has heart.
Yeah.
It was pretty inspiring to watch, honestly.
And we talk about that all the time, me and Laird, but to people that are going to compete at ALLGROUND, we say like, if someone is technically better than you, you can still beat them by making them tired. Mm-hmm. Like the person that's able to push the pace, and work and outwork the other, like the old saying, like fatigue makes cowards of us all. As soon as that person that's technically better than you starts to feel that fatigue, they're not so much better than you, like that takes over and then you can take over, But that's happened a lot in our career. Like I've wanted to be technically better in jiu-jitsu, than others, but I just recognized, like especially in the gi when I was training at Kai's, I was like, I am not where I want to be. And so I would just supplement that with hard work and trying to make someone tired. I was like, if I can weigh on their head, shoot, like get on their legs, pass side to side, eventually this will level the playing field.
Yeah.
You know, and that's cool. And Merab displays that beautifully. He's just a constant force. You know, it's like you're fighting in a river upstream. You know,
he's like, I have a tool set, and I'm going to use it to the absolute max. Yeah. Whereas a lot of people will use their tool set and they'll say it's not working, and they'll stop using the tools. And he just like will never give up. Never.
Yeah. I know, it's so cool.
So, I mean, are there people out there that could beat him? I mean, if Merab and Umar fought 100 times, Umar wins some of those times.
Probably.
But, I mean, more than likely, but on average, right now, Merab is the better fighter because between the years, he's the better fighter.
Interesting. I actually think that Umar would win more.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. You know, because in the fight, you could see where he was technically better. At least that's what I felt like. And you could even see Umar trying to keep this kind of face about him, you know, to not look like he was tired.
Yeah.
You know, so he does still have that. I mean, I think it really just came down to like his limits, like on his body.
Yeah.
Maybe not so much on his mind. You know, he was like really trying to do everything. And like even up until the last minute, he was fighting.
Yeah.
So I just think he just, you know, ran the limits on, you know, his physical capabilities.
Yeah. And he did say he broke his hand in the first round. I don't know if that came out and that was actually official.
I don't know. I will say this. He landed some very, very solid shots on Merab. And Merab just was like, just shook it off and came back smiling.
Yeah.
That had to be so demoralizing for Umar to hit him like literally as hard as he could. It would have just floored, it would have just starched anybody except Merab. He comes back like, ha ha ha, let's go. Let's keep going. This is fun. It's like, what the hell? He's a zombie, like you said, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Those Georgian heads, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's in the water?
Seriously.
Yeah.
I think what's like Georgia and Dagestan, they're just separated by a mountain. They're like kind of close.
It's a huge mountain.
It's a pretty big mountain.
I mean, you can't walk there, but I'm saying like if you look there like, oh, it's kind of close, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, no. That's crazy. Yeah, it would be cool to go out there and experience that someday. I feel like Laird could probably get the invite.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like maybe he did at some point. I can't remember, but I mean, I know that Umar and Team Khabib when they were training at AK and Laird was there, I know they loved training with Laird and gave him a lot of props. And like even Khabib mentioned his name and training and whatnot and talked about how Laird, he said Laird. I think Laird is his name, but he said like Laird, Umar, good spar, push each other like very hard. And that's like one of the greatest of all time, you know? Just getting that recognition. And that is so cool.
Yeah.
You know, that's so cool. I'm sure other people were just like, damn, like I want to be in Laird's position right now, just where I'm like getting the praise from Khabib.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe we could send him out there.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And like forget about him for like a year. You know what I mean?
Do a GoFundMe.
He comes back speaking Russian, you know what I mean? Like,
you just gotta we just go way out there.
Yeah, just don't contact us. Just stay there.
Yeah. We don't want to know what's going on at all.
Just there.
So
we'll just get like a little place for him and Lila and Tina. They can live like in a little cabin.
Dude's drinking like raw milk, you know.
Yeah, raw milk, vodka.
eggs. Definitely raw eggs. He's drinking raw eggs.
Yeah, for sure. This
Listen
guy's
to Eye of the
chugging
Tiger
raw
on
eggs.
loop.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. I'd be up for that. We should put together a little fund.
Yeah, I know. I think about that a lot too. I'm like, just education, you know, for martial arts and for the academy. It would be cool just to send Laird somewhere or I go somewhere and you just deep work, like learning so much from high level people, bring it back to the gym. That stuff's cool.
Yeah.
Martial arts retreats.
Yeah. Once we get to the point where we've got like really good instructors underneath us, we can go do that. Stuff like that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Martial arts retreats.
That'd be
Could have
really
my mom cook at the retreat. That'd be sick.
Yeah, that'd be. She's good. She's good.
Oh, you've had his mom's cooking?
I've had some of his mom's cooking. It's
See, that's my
fantastic.
gripe with Ty. You know what I'm saying? That's my gripe with Ty because
I wheedle my way in, man. I'm just like, oh,
Yeah, Ty's part of the family now.
the ancient
family.
the ancient Greeks would call it kleos, which means glory. I feel like Ty's getting all the glory. You know what I'm saying? Like when
I don't know, but
when
I
he
was
comes
getting
to
some of
the
the
gym,
pancakes.
Glory to Ty.
when he comes to the gym, everybody like even people that like don't normally talk, like kind of a little quiet at the gym, like they're all like chitty chatty with Ty. You know?
That's because I go talk to him. I'm like, hey, I'm your new best friend. Let's talk.
I don't know about this guy.
I'm hugging them. They're like, what is going on? I don't close talk, though. Don't do that. That's not okay.
Oh yeah, you can't. You
close
don't
talk.
want people to feel your breath.
No.
Oh.
It smells like coffee. I already know that. So
Oh, that's the worst thing.
hi there.
Hey, welcome to jujitsu.
The people
And I'm
that
never
spit
coming
while
back.
They talk. Oh God.
Yeah.
It's not good. It's not good.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, should we even mention the Islam Moicano fight? I mean, what was that? 30, 40
Yeah,
seconds of it?
yeah. It was
It was sad.
like last minute switch.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Moicano had what seemed like a little success on the feet, but that drop or whatever was Islam slipping. It
Yeah.
it didn't even connect. And then Islam submitted him with a Darce choke or
Yeah.
anaconda.
Yeah.
Can't remember, but
I-
and man, it's just levels. I mean, Islam is the highest level right
Yeah.
now. I mean,
He's
I
a
mean,
scary,
it's like
scary
John
dude.
Jones and Islam at just the highest level of martial arts.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, everybody knew Moicano would just have to land a lucky punch.
Yeah.
Puncher's
Moicano
chance.
Yeah.
he's like literally a prize fighter. You know, like the definition of a prize fighter.
Yeah.
You know?
Does it for money.
Yeah.
Money Moicano.
Yeah, you know?
Yeah.
And if you ever, I don't know if you ever listened to his podcast. I mean, it's fairly kind of new, but the dude knows so much about the market, crypto.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And the way he's breaking it down and like, he's like talking about, like, he's saying words in English. Like, I feel like my etymology is pretty good. I'm like, dang, this dude is Brazilian. He didn't even grow up like speaking English and like his English is better than mine.
Yeah. See, Islam knows nothing about crypto.
Yeah.
He's just only thinking about killing people.
And
you know?
and business is good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good at killing people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's pound for pound the best in the world, making way more money than some crypto trades probably now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing, man. Like at that level, at the elite level, I mean, Khabib talked about this on that little clip I sent you guys, but it's not even, it doesn't come down to discipline, you know?
Sacrifice.
Hard work, yeah. It comes down to sacrifice. Who's willing to sacrifice more? And I see that from all of the elite performers or practitioners in any field, whether it's freaking jiu-jitsu, business, ping pong, cooking, like
Yeah.
could be anything. It's the people that obsess and sacrifice everything else in order to like be successful at that. And those are the 1% or the 0.1%.
Yeah.
And that's someone like Islam right now, which is so cool to see. And that's also a guy like Umar, which is really cool to see. And that means that Merab is a special human being, you know, because he's beating someone that literally sacrifices everything in order to be the best in the world, you know. And that's inspiring, you know.
Yeah.
Well, and ultimately, there's no way Umar isn't walking away from that thinking there are holes in my game and I need to fix those holes.
Yeah.
This fight will make him a better fighter.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Or it kind of paints a nicer blueprint for other fighters, you know?
Yeah, they're just gonna have to work as hard as Merab, and I don't know how many people are willing to do
Not
that.
a lot. He's
People are like,
pretty
you know what?
extraordinary.
I'd rather just land that punch. I'm just gonna focus on a good slip counter.
How about land it harder? Because he did land him,
Yeah.
and they didn't knock him out. That was what was discouraging, you know. Because he's like, I'm just going to knock him out. Like I'll just land a few really hard ones, and he'll drop. He didn't drop. Guys like
That
a
is
pit bull.
discouraging, man. Yeah, that's really good. Discouraging. My couple of my 2 professional fights, I remember like hitting these guys really hard, and I'm like, damn, fucking MMA is tough, man. Like I just hit this motherfucker so hard, kicked him in the head hard, punched him hard, and it's just like some people just eat it.
Yeah.
You know, just eat it, especially punches you feel like you're throwing everything into.
You can tell the people that grew up watching Rocky just eating punches, right?
Yeah.
Damn, this guy watched
was
Rocky.
Cool. Remember, like, there was this fighter, Chris Lieben, who just, that was his thing. Like, he would just walk forward and, like, let you punch him in the head. And you're like, I'm crazy. I'm raging. And at the time, like, Laird and I thought that was the coolest shit.
Yeah.
Like, at the time, Laird and I were like, dude, we just got to get hit in the head more. We got to harden our heads. And nobody's going to fuck with
Like
us.
a scene out of Happy Gilmore.
Yeah.
365 more days till next tryouts. I got to toughen up.
Yeah.
Get a softball cage.
Yeah. Early stages of MMA where that's, like, cool.
Yeah.
You know? And then you start seeing people be elusive and you learn more about brain health. Like, that's
Then all the
probably a really
studies
bad
on
idea.
CTE came out. You're like, ooh,
Yeah.
maybe that's not a good idea.
I have this funny story about, like, brain health. Anyways, I had to go to a neurosurgeon to get cleared for a fight in California, and this lady had for sure, like, never heard anything about MMA or, like, boxing, and whatnot. And, like, right before she reviewed my CT scan, she was just asking me some questions. She was like, like, how many times do you think you've been hit in the head, like, in your life? And I was like, oh my God.
That's a true question,
Like
right?
thousands.
I literally said that. I was like hit in the head, like, just, like, punched here and there. She was like, yeah. And I was like, over 1,000? I don't know. Like, I've been hit in the head since I was like 5 or 6 years old, you know?
Yeah.
And she freaked out. She was like, really? Are you serious? And I was like, yeah, I mean, like, not super hard all the time, but I mean, I grew up boxing and, you know, kickboxing and doing jiu-jitsu and wrestling. I've been hit in the head thousands of times probably. She was like, oh my God. She was so nervous for me.
Oh my gosh.
And then she reviewed, she's like, miraculously, you have a really healthy brain. You know, like, you're okay. And I was like, I would hope so.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it was funny just to, like, say that out loud, because you start to think, I guess I have been hit a lot, you know, but that's just this sport. I mean, you get hit a lot, you know.
Yeah, but compare that to football, right? Where
Yeah.
you're a lineman. How many hard shots to the head do you take in each game, and how often do you play that game?
Yeah.
Compared to MMA, where you're trying not to get hit in the head.
Yeah.
You can't avoid being hit in the head. You're just constantly banging heads with dudes.
I know. I don't like that.
Yeah. There's just, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean,
That's why football's so dangerous, because it's literally inevitable. You're going to have CTE if you play it long enough.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, the CTE in football just is way more rampant than MMA.
And you look at, like, John Jones, how often does he get hit in the head really hard?
Yeah.
Not really all that often, it turns out. He's
Yeah.
really good at not being hit in the head.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, he's got to
that's-
have some type of, like, brain damage, because he be getting
Maybe.
some wild stuff, like, out of the cage, right? Like,
Yeah.
That could just be personality.
Yeah, he's doing some wild stuff for sure.
yeah, and it's kind of like, this is America, right? Like, football, we know it's, you know, it hurts the players. You know, you see hockey, like, you know, they actually want fights, you know, because it's kind of like the American
Yeah.
spirit.
Drop the gloves and go for
You
it.
know?
Yeah.
Hockey's cool. Yeah, it's cool like that.
And especially when, like, they're getting ready, they got their hands up, you know, you're like, oh,
I love it. I love when they're circling each other and they throw the gloves off.
yeah.
Have you seen the movie Goon?
Yeah.
I love that movie.
I didn't finish it because I wasn't, like, super digging it, but it was funny.
I actually really enjoyed
Yeah.
it. Yeah, that was good.
What do you guys think about what is it, slap fight? What do you
Power slap.
power slap? Yeah.
See, now that's CTE
I don't know.
right there.
That's
You're
like-
begging for it.
Yeah, but it's just one slap.
No, it's like 3, isn't it?
Yeah,
Unless you get knocked out.
Unless you get knocked out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what the stats on that.
Are you a fan? Do you think you'd be? Are you?
I've never actually watched it outside of, like, seeing some highlights.
Yeah, me
I've
neither.
never watched a power
I'm
slap
not like,
event.
ooh, Power Slap's coming on. Let's watch
Yeah,
it. Let's
yeah.
do the pay-per-view on that. Like, never.
Apparently, it's huge though. Like, it's one of the fastest growing sports. It seems like.
I've tried to watch it. You know, and sometimes you watch something and then you start to see the technique in it, or you start to see, okay, you start to like it more. Kind of like when I started watching F1 racing when I was younger.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, you start to see all these these things just to win a race.
Right.
You watch Power Slap, it's like, wow. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're just trying to hit that dude as hard as you can.
How did you do
And
it?
he's not going to try to stop you. And in fact, if he flinches, you get to hit him again.
Yeah. How did you become the power
for
slap world
flinching.
champion? I don't know. I just slap really hard.
Yeah, I could take a hit.
Yeah. But you know, like at this point, there's got to be like someone in Dagestan or Russia, either side of the mountain, just like slapping wood, just like on trees.
They're breeding people that have really big hands.
Yeah.
So, you get these people that are like, in a low weight class with these giant freaking bare hands.
yeah. It's gonna be a crossover sport with like arm wrestlers and power slap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know. It's funny. I could never do that. I would never just want to like take a slap. I mean, it just seems worse than taking a punch for some reason. Like just like standing there and just like
Yeah.
sort of trying to
It's kind
prepare
of
for
humiliating.
it. Yeah. Oh gosh, it's scary.
Yeah.
If they hit your ear too, your head's just ringing.
The thing
know.
is,
I mean, I
it's
guess
not
you can
really
get kicked.
combat, right? You're not.
Yeah.
Combat is there's a defense and an offense aspect. There's literally no defense in power slam. Just stand there, just let somebody just completely just try to destroy your head.
No, see, you don't understand the defense. There's like little like you tie in the neck, you like lean into it a little bit.
Yeah.
Like that's where people are getting real technical. Like,
Yeah.
No, you can't just take it. You gotta like tighten your neck and like turn your jaw this way and then like lean into it a little bit. You can absorb
Fair
way
enough.
more.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, there's gonna be like old Russian power slap coaches.
Oh,
That are
You think good slap, yeah?
the ancients.
All right, so let's get back to Enrique over
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
Oh,
Let's get
okay.
back.
So you trained down there for a few years, and then you took a break.
Well, if I'm being honest, I had to focus in on just not being poor, and so I really just tried to. I didn't go to college, and so I just I learned something from this old timer it was like his week of retiring, and he said, you wanna learn skills where they're rare. Because if you can just do anything else anybody else does, then you have no leverage. They tell you how much they pay you and all that.
Yeah.
So I was just on this mission to just like acquire rare skills. And I feel like, some years back I got to a comfortable place in my life. And so that was really just my focus. I think for me, jiu-jitsu at the time, and what it was at that time, like, I think you just really had to know that that's what you wanted to do. For me, jiu-jitsu was like, it was the philosophy. It was the, how can I say it? It was the thing that gave me a lot of structure in my life to handle things, because before that I didn't have anything.
Right.
And so it definitely helped me in my career and move up. And then, I trained here and there, and it wasn't until, recently when, ALLGROUND opened up that kind of rekindled that. And
Well, you're at a different place in your life.
yeah. And I'm doing it because I want to do it. It's intentional. And I always like kind of stayed in shape, always ran and stuff. And coming here and working with Coach, it's like they put me through my paces and I love it, because I know I'm getting the hard work, and I don't feel old, given, when I started training, people would imagine that I'm old, but I don't feel old. I actually feel like I'm going backwards,
Yeah.
and so yeah, that's kind of just to, I guess, sum it up. Jiu-jitsu was never something that I wanted to do because it wasn't that big. It wasn't even YouTube back then,
Yeah, it wasn't about like getting your black belt one day. It was just
like I wanted to
the
defend
lessons
myself.
that you were taking away from it. Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to be, mentally strong, and then just like being around all those other individuals who had already lived like a pretty good life. Like some of those people, like, they could be a lawyer. One guy like had been out of prison for like a year previous, and like just being around that and that melting pot really gave me this aspect on life. So for me, that's what it was. It was kind of like this thing that helped me on my journey. And now, like, dude, I'm really trying to go as far as I can, given my circumstances, and who knows, maybe a little more. Like I was telling Coach, like, sometimes I say a little crazy stuff at work, maybe I'll get fired. You know what I'm saying? Like,
just get to focus on jiu-jitsu now.
Exactly. Like,
Unemployment's not a bad deal.
Like I'll just work a regular job and just be at the gym all day, like
it. Yeah, man. It was so cool when we first chatted on the phone. I was just like, right off the bat, I knew Enrique was a cool dude. And it was awesome seeing the parallels, because he sent me a picture of him when he was younger, and he was like hanging out with Elio Gracie, or got to take a picture with Elio Gracie, who's one of the godfathers of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah.
And that was cool, because my dad was training with Elio around that time, and knew him, and so although Enrique was younger, he was around the scene, like at a similar time. And couldn't wait to get him into the gym, and I feel it was one of the earliest 6 a.m. classes that we had had. Like I think we had been running 6 a.m. classes for. This was only like 2 months into the gym, maybe a month even.
Yeah. You guys had just opened like a month previous.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I think it was just a month, and shoot, we'll edit that out. Enrique showed up, and it was just you. It was just you, me, and Laird. And I remember being so tired, dude. I remember being just like I could fall asleep while talking, but we were just chatting away, sitting in the lobby. It was just Enrique, so we were thinking like, no, we're just gonna talk to this guy. He's super cool. We're just gonna chat with him. We don't even need to train right now. And that was awesome. That was really cool to get to learn a little bit about your story, the parallels, that we have. And I tried not to fall asleep the whole time.
Yeah.
I was like sitting on a kickboxing bag. I was like, oh man.
I mean, you guys just kind of just let me loose. So I was just
that was good.
Just talking, because I think that was one of the things that I think is, not to kind of like pump you up or
Oh, they love that.
Yeah, no, pump me up.
But but like you have this ability to kind of like see people, and I think in the world today, a lot of people have to look out for themselves. And so they forget a lot of these social things that brought us together as people. And you have this way of seeing people. And then also I think people can come to you with anything and tell you things. And like, you're not going to place judgment. You're not going to give some type of sermon. Mm-hmm. You're going to meet people where they're at.
Yeah.
And, help them as much as you can. And I'm not afraid to like tell you things or, how I'm feeling, being honest with you.
Yeah.
And I think that's like such a power, because you've worked so much on maybe, I don't know, like killing your ego, and I don't know where you get that from, because that's grace, and you have that at such a young age. Mm-hmm. That's pretty powerful.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Yeah. I think I've just been fortunate to have good people around me, and also just be like passionate about being a bigger brother, because I definitely was an asshole at times, and, shouldn't have been the best older brother that I wanted to be. And just learning like how to understand where my siblings were coming from, and, their experience is different than mine. And I think I always sort of felt like my way was the right way, or just classic, like older sibling, issues. But, I think the moment I started to just like see where they were at in their life and how I could be a supportive older brother, life just got a little easier in terms of communicating with others and taking care of others. And yeah, man, I mean, everyone's on their own timeline. They're trying to learn at their own pace. And mostly, regardless of where you are, you want to feel loved and supported, held. And like you're important in some way, and you want to feel heard. So just understanding that as a bigger brother helped me, as just a human being in general. But it started with my siblings for sure. Because I just wanted them to, at some point, I was like, I want them to be able to trust me and know that I'm here to listen and support them no matter what.
Yeah.
So,
I see.
but I'm still working on it. You know,
I see the way you and Laird talk to one another, and I won't lie. Like my siblings and me, we didn't really talk like that for most of our lives, and it's only recently where we're like kind of maybe not feeling vulnerable, like we be more vulnerable to say things like that, hugging, I love you.
Yeah.
But I see you guys doing that already, you know, like the way you guys communicate, and I think it's nice.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, a lot of love there, you know, and that's from, you know, my mom and my dad for sure. Just even no matter how hard things got growing up, there was always a lot of love, you know, and so there'd be times when I hated my dad, you know, but I just knew how much he loved me, you know, even, you know, at the worst times, because I was definitely a shithead at times, you know, just making a lot of mistakes, but I knew how much he always loved me, and yeah, that's important for me as an older brother and as a person, just to reciprocate that.
Yeah, when you know you have somebody in your life that won't give up on you, that's powerful. People can go far when they know they have someone in their life that will never give up on. And usually, like, that's your parents, right? Mm-hmm. You know, like you may not even have a good relationship with your parents, but you know they got your back.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, for sure.
And so when you have more than a few, right, like people that got your back like that, you can go far in life.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. That's super empowering to have people that, regardless of what happens, just have your back, you know? Because there's going to be times when you slip up or you're not able to do what you said you're going to do. And I feel like as long as like you're trying to be a better person, like those people that have your back, they're going to understand that, and they're going to see that, and they're going to be able to be patient, you know, with you. And yeah, you sort of hope that just over time, like they're inspired by that. Yeah. You know, those people that you're patient with and you're more understanding with, but you're still constantly trying to bring the best out of them. They're just inspired by that. And then slowly but surely they're more consistent, you know. Yeah. They have a better attitude, and then they're that inspiration for somebody else.
For sure. Sure.
Yeah. Well, and being part of a community, like we've talked about this before, you are heavily influenced by the people around you. And to think that you're not is just not honest with yourself. You're going to change. You're always changing. Like, we're very dynamic human beings. And so choose the people that you're going to spend your time with very carefully, because they will change you for the better or for the worse. And so finding a community like ALLGROUND, where, you know, you like the people, you respect the people, these are people that you can learn from, and you enjoy being around them, that's going to make you a better person. Yeah. And so, yeah, your people that have good families that are there for them are very fortunate, but also, you know, outside of the family, you know, kind of almost like an extended family, the people that you surround yourself with, that's going to be very formative for you. So I don't know. I can't emphasize enough, just be careful who you spend your time with.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of younger people are just like, hey, it's my friend, I got to spend time with him. Like, yeah, but he's an idiot, and he's going to make your life worse. And he's going to make you do stupid things. Maybe don't spend time with that person. You know? Right. And every parent ever has always seen that. I mean, did you have idiot friends that your dad was like, dude, don't spend time with that kid?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Had to, right? Yeah. And now you look back, you're like, man, I shouldn't have spent any time with that kid. He was an idiot. Yeah. And there were other parents that were probably like, don't spend time with that kid Elias, right?
Probably. Yeah. It's funny. Yeah, for sure. I just heard something on another podcast recently, in terms of like letting go of the friends that you probably shouldn't be friends with anymore. Mm-hmm. And simple question was like, if it's a guy, for example, would you want them to date your daughter? You know? Yes. And if you say hell no, then maybe they're not a good enough friend. Yeah. You know? And yeah, I mean, you can have acquaintances. Like, there's gonna be so many people that come through ALLGROUND, and you know, I'm not gonna like want them to be part of the family or something. But yeah, like you said, who you surround yourself with, who's like your core group of friends.
Yeah.
Like that is so important to shaping your perspective and how you deal with others.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm super thankful for that right now. I have an amazing group of people around me, and it's awesome, man.
Yeah, and to say like, but all ground, like, you know, I think a lot of people will say that to maybe like sell the gym or, you know, to bring people in. But I know after class when you guys, I don't know, like I'll be just making my rounds, just talking to everybody.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and like, and then I'll leave just feeling, you know, just invigorated, just feeling like, man, these are like my people here, you know, and all I had to do was show up.
Yeah.
You know, and so like, it is becoming a family, you know, and I'm always cautious about using that word, like, especially like, say like your places of work, right? Like when people say like, oh, we're a family here, but you get laid off. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you're no longer part of the family.
Goodbye.
Yeah, that's like not my idea of family, right? So
Yeah.
like I've always found that misleading, and I'm always careful about accepting that. And so, but when I'm at All Ground, like, no, like, it's becoming a family, like, like it's real, like. So, I would say totally is. you
Yeah,
know?
thanks, man. Yeah, well, the people make it that way, you know, guys like you and Ty and so many people that they make it what it is, which is
Yeah,
awesome.
definitely.
So,
Yeah. So all you got to do is sit back and steer the ship. And,
try not to
and just
crash it
don't-
into an iceberg.
Yeah. Exactly. Did you see that there was like I don't know if it was a meme or whatever, but they were like how Titanic could have ended. And there's a captain and his first mate, and they're you know sailing along. He's like, "Oh, look out, an iceberg!" And he swerves, and he's like, "Whew, that could have been close." And it just says the end. You know?
Yeah, there's like the other ones where people are like, this door is definitely big enough for two people. Or
Yeah,
whatever.
exactly.
Didn't have to freeze in the water to death.
Yeah. So, okay, real quick, what do you feel about? I mean, does it upset you when she throws the giant jewel into the ocean at the end?
It's weird.
It's a little strange.
Yeah.
But you know, it's.
I feel like
poor Bill Paxton has been searching for this thing for. He's got like his entire life is invested in this, and she's holding the damn thing the whole time, and then she just throws it into the ocean. It's like, what the heck?
Yeah.
I think she's teaching a lesson, you know.
Sure.
Just learn to let it go.
Yeah,
Or something.
to somebody who's invested his entire life savings into something.
Yeah.
Let it go, Bill. You're never
Let
gonna
it
get
go.
it now.
That's a whole lot of debt, God. You know what I'm saying? Like with that jewel right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I find I think as you being a very, well, you know, doing what you do for work, you know, you're very logical.
Software. Yeah.
And so, me working where I work, you know, I deal with a lot of people who are logical. And so I think people who are, which is crazy because you're like a blend, right? Like,
Sure.
But where I'm at, like people are just super logical, and you,
Like Asperger's level logical.
yeah,
Like no social skills
like
whatsoever.
on the
Yeah.
spectrum, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like hard.
Yeah.
And so you try to come in with a little bit of I don't know, a little nuance, a little like vision. You know, people are like, it doesn't add up. I'm not going.
That just
you know?
makes zero sense.
Definitely not. Definitely
Yeah,
not.
and so that could be why you see that. I know for like, I mean, maybe we're getting a little off topic, but there was this one movie I was just like this couple where like they had grown up loving each other and separated by time. It's like a recent movie. Me and my friend watched it, and I was just so like, this movie like makes no sense. Like this person is leading this other person on, and he's just getting hurt the whole time. But it's like so popular. Like the movie's like such a hit.
Dang. Sounds horrible.
Yeah, like you're like, what about that person? You know what I mean? This is not fair.
Yeah.
You know, that's the way I'm thinking. But people love that stuff. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I'm all about the not getting caught in the soul sucking force of reasonableness. Ty's taught me that, which is awesome. There's always a way to make a cool moment for someone. Campfire stories, you know.
Yeah.
People can talk about their moments around the fire, and that's so cool. You come together, group of friends. There's going to be a lot of awesome stories from All Ground over the years.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. It's been an hour and 10.
Hour
Wow.
10.
Guys. Yeah.
Crushing it.
Yeah,
You
we're
know,
cranking.
when we don't have Laird here, like just bringing it down like a wet blanket.
Yeah.
It's so fun.
Laird,
I
you
know. I've just been having the best time.
I'm not with
so
him,
much fun. So
Dude,
much fun.
God, this is great. This is really great.
I'm
All right, Enrique. So
I have to
the
go.
real reason we brought you here is there's an opening. There's an opening on the All Ground podcast.
Yeah. Speaking of family, Laird, you're no longer.
Laird shows up to my apartment. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't
Yeah.
see him through the people. I go, go away, coach. Go home.
I am not opening the door.
He's gonna come through here and power slap all of us.
Yeah. And he will.
Yeah.
He's a very, very.
He's
aggressive
formidable.
person. He's formidable. Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
does I know we kind of joke around about it, but like I've joked around with Coach Laird is he has this look where he's just chilling, right?
Yeah.
But it's an intimidating look. You know?
Yeah.
You know, and
That's why people think he's older than me.
oh, okay.
Yeah. He's just got that like old stoic,
Yeah.
mean, disheveled, old loser.
Just looks like a grumpy old man, really. Yeah.
We were out there when we were out there doing outreach and you know, just kind of bringing awareness to the, you know, all ground.
Yeah.
And he was like kind of beside me, and I like kind of jokingly but almost seriously was like, hey coach, you got to go back there, man. Like,
Hey man,
you're kind of like
your face is too intense.
yeah, you know?
Yeah.
So
You know, I do have a funny story. So Laird and I went and played golf. I don't know, a few months ago, and on the turn we were on the 10th hole. You know, and it's kind of a slow day where the people in front of us were just, you know, we always had to wait a little bit, which was fine. We were just kind of chilling. It was just the two of us playing, and so we're on the 10th hole and we're waiting for the people in front of us, and they're like 150 yards out. And then they pull forward, you know, to their next shot, and they're still like, they're probably 300 yards out. And, you know, if I really get a hold of a drive, I'll hit it like 330, you know? So, and not that I'm going to kill them if they're 300 yards out, it's going to roll up to their feet, but that's still kind of a douchey thing to do. So I'm just like, I'm going to wait, you know, like I don't like to tee off into people. And the people behind us, it was like two dudes in a cart, and they were just like the typical arrogant businessman, impatient golfer kind of people. And they were like, dude, just tee off. They're 400 yards out. You're not going to hit them. And they were just like very, very rude, you know? And the first thought in my mind was, I'm like, you don't even know who you're talking to. This guy could kill you both so easily, you know?
Yeah.
But I was curious to see how Laird handled it. And he turned around and he was like, oh, yeah, sorry guys, you can just play through. It's fine. We're not in a hurry. And like, he was just so nice to them, you know? And and then they felt stupid. They were like, oh, well, you know, I mean, it's like, we just don't want to wait all day. We're like, go ahead and play through. Then you can wait for them. Like we were waiting for them. We'll just take an extra 5 minutes. But it was a very interesting moment, because I've been on the golf course with people that I've seen people fight for less, you know, like they throw down right there. I've seen grown men hitting each other with golf clubs. It's ridiculous, you know, like, come on, grow up. But yeah, it was as intense as Laird is. He's a very kind person.
Yeah.
And he's not looking to, you know, get into trouble or beat people up or anything unless, you know, he's getting paid to do it.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. No, he's very, very composed, and that's something that I had to learn from Laird as the older brother. You know,
yeah.
just learning about his composure and being calm in stressful situations, and he'll still remind me. Like I still have a tendency to like want to be a hothead in certain situations. He's like, it does nothing.
Yeah.
You know, what's the point? Like, there's no point. You know, let them be angry. You know, it's in the past, or it doesn't even matter. You know, so
Exactly.
he's really good at that.
So
which is awesome.
he's got an old soul.
Yeah, he's wise beyond his years, and now he's a dad, so he's super wise beyond his years.
dude, for real.
Yeah, he's Lila's dad. That's
Lila's
his name.
dad. Yeah,
He's got
this
that
cup has to say Lila's dad.
Yes.
he's got that I think it's been scientifically proven he's got that dad strength now where like actually something happens to your body or,
Shit, maybe it's gonna be harder to beat his ass than I was expecting.
He
yeah
might just crush you.
Yeah, I forgot he has dad strength now.
Yeah.
I didn't account for that.
because now he has to like protect you know, like a child, you know? And so something, I remember it's like, I think it's real. We're
I'm
like,
a little more nervous
yeah, see.
than I was before.
Or like
You gotta
women are
watch
like
your words,
lifting
you know what I'm
cars off their kids, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, for a guy that was already strong, he's just
Yeah.
going to break you in half with one hand now.
Yeah.
You're totally screwed.
Damn it. I completely forgot about dad strength.
You see these fighters, right? Like, wasn't it with like Charles Oliveira, where after he had his first kid, that's when he went on that tear after he had his first kid?
Damn, that would be cool. I mean, he did go on a freaking tear. He's so cool. That guy's awesome. I love that guy.
Maybe you need to have some kids, coach.
All right, here we go.
Yeah. Does adoption work?
Yeah, does adoption give you dad strength? There's got to be a logical conclusion.
A
What about
17-and-a-half-year-old?
Yeah.
5 dogs and 2
for
cats?
6 months. Yeah. Furry kids.
Yeah.
Furry kids.
Yeah. How many dogs do I need to have? Yeah, well, it's a little baby daughter too. So that's like extra dad strength.
Yeah.
You know?
That's extra
Yeah.
motivation.
Yeah.
It's full protection mode.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm a little less confident in our face off, our match when he's healed.
I can almost feel Laird listening to this, kind of just like crossing his arms and kind of nodding slowly as you say that. He's like,
Yeah.
that's right.
I feel like he's just going like this.
You're getting your ass beat.
You're gonna get your ass beat.
He's in a dark room listening to this.
Yeah.
It's like,
Drinking a Cavassier, swirling it in the cup.
oh, they want to play, huh?
Oh, nice.
We love you, Laird.
We do.
Pour one out for the homie.
I've always been on your
Libation.
side, coach.
I've always been there for you, Laird. I've always been.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, we're approaching an hour and 20. I feel like this has been an awesome pod.
I think so.
Episode 11. You know.
The once.
Yeah, we made it into double digits last episode, and here we are.
Wow.
Cruising.
So
Yeah.
close to 20, really. I mean, what they say, once you're over the hill, you pick up speed, and 10 was the hump. And
Yeah.
now we're just
Now we're cranking.
accelerating into 20.
Podcast coming out every single week.
Yes.
You can expect that.
Nice. I just have one question before we go.
Yeah.
In 2025, what haircut are you going to be rocking? Because you've been through a few since I've known you.
Your hair grows so fast.
Yeah.
It's like the Play-Doh factory where it just like crank and then just grows out. And you're like, I'm going to have a mullet. And
What
now
are we
I'm gonna
doing?
have it shaved.
What are we
Yeah.
doing? What are we doing?
Dude,
What's the future hold?
I think we're going shaved head.
Oh.
Pink. Like a buzz cut. Like a buzz cut, but pink.
Okay. So I got, and let me just throw this
I'm
out.
just joking.
The picture at the gym of you with like the corn rolls,
Oh, yeah.
where it's like that, you look super intimidating in that picture. Of course, it's
Yeah.
like the photography, the way like your eyes are shaded and stuff. You
Right.
look like a demon or something.
Well, it's because it was pulling my head back so tight, so it was just
yeah,
like looking really intense. You know,
yeah.
like
I say you do
Yeah.
a perm.
a perm would be sick.
Permanent. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Just hit it with some activator. You know
I
what
feel
I
like
mean?
this is like way before your time, but there was that show Welcome Back, Kotter. I can't remember the guy's name that had the big fro, the white guy that had the big fro.
Yeah.
I think you should get a perm and go like rock that.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe. I'm really digging the short hair now. You know, just getting it pulled constantly in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
And like finally feeling free of that. I just love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I just kept getting shorter and shorter and
Yeah.
shorter. You know, I started off with the mullet. I was like, okay, trimmed up the sides, you know.
Yeah.
But still, the back gets pulled. I'm like, maybe a shorter mullet. So I
Yeah.
had a short mullet.
Yeah.
Still.
Just wasn't
doing
short
it for
enough.
me. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I'm thinking the next one is just a buzz cut. I know.
You know,
But Laird's
man.
going to make fun of me with my small head.
You know what I'm saying?
Your head's so little.
Oh, yeah, a little tiny little baby head.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, welcome to the All Ground Pod.
Wait, wasn't that supposed to be at the beginning?
Ah, shoot.
Oh, we cutting the intro now?
Yo.
There you
Oh.
go.
Thanks for coming on the show, Enrique. Is this the volume?
Yeah.
Okay. Catch you on the next one. Welcome to the All Ground Pod. Welcome to the All Ground Pod.
Pod.
Yo, welcome to the All Ground